at Assen in the Netherlands. One of the things about the sim racing for me is that you see the different tracks that we come to race on here, and it actually makes me want to travel, to be perfectly honest. We go and visit these tracks for real. Great thing to be able to do. So it's almost like a travelogue, isn't it? So with this, we're just getting the drivers into the podium positions, and we'll grab a quick word. I think we've pretty much got everybody there. So we're going to have a go and see if we can catch up with Jack Smith. Welcome back to the championship, Jack. Congratulations on P3.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, a bit unexpected, but yeah, happy to be on the podium.
That's really good. So, work commitments keeping you away?
Yeah, I got back, like maybe 5 o'clock today, and that's after that. Yeah, I literally had my first day of practice at maybe 6:30. So yeah, not too bad, I think, considering I've had like, a limited practice. So yeah, but yeah, been away for 2 weeks. So yeah, it's nice to be back at the wheel again.
That's pretty good. So where's your brother on these ones? This is the. I know we're here to talk about you as well, but where's your bro?
Oh, he just dislikes front-wheel drive. I tried to convince him, but yeah, he's not being persuaded. So it's just me. I'm waving the flag for DK Power. So yeah, but yeah, I tried my best. He just wouldn't do it. So.
And you're waving the flag for the hop cavern as well.
Yes, exactly. Although it's a bit of a dry January, so there's not much happening today.
A dry Jan? That's not a thing, surely.
Yeah. Dry Janury. I was trying to save some weight for the holidays in summer. So.
Yeah, where you going? You got to get anywhere decent books?
Yeah, we're probably thinking of going. Well, not thinking. We've booked Florida, so that'll be a nice getaway. Because we didn't go anywhere last year, so yeah. So it'll be a nice trip away. But yeah, no racing, so it'd be a break from racing as well. So yeah,
just trying to get the VRRC calendar based around the holidays.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, good to have you back with us, and decent circuit to come back to, isn't it, Assen?
Yeah, I really liked it in the rear wheel drives. I've only just got the knack of it in qualifying with the front wheel drives, but yeah, it drives very differently to what it was with the rear wheel drive. So yeah, but I really do like the circuit. So overtaking is a little bit tricky. Like behind Scott in that last race, that was a bit hectic, and I was trying every way to get past him. But it was really good racing. We were really close. I thought maybe 10 times I thought it was going to be a big crash, but we kept it really clean. So yeah, that was some proper racing.
I think you and Scott showed how it should be done. You gave a great display of attacking and clean. There was space. You had a couple of tiny little touches that came up on the screen, but from my point of view, nothing that would get looked at. And Scott also was great defending, and we'll catch up with him in a minute. But I guess you're happy to race like that all evening long.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've missed 2 rounds now, so I'm sort of going into this championship with a bit more of a fun mindset. So I'm looking at some like really fun racing. So I think that's what my goal is going to be for this one. Try and get as many points as I can, obviously, but not thinking too much about that. I'm more thinking about like how can I make this more fun. So yeah, it should be interesting. I'm looking forward to the reverse grid, especially. I have no idea how it's going to work with these cars, and because obviously this is my first set of races. So yeah, that last race was all new to me. So yeah. And also a quick one. I just want to give a shout out to Ollie. He's actually passed his driving test, so he might not be racing in this, but he is driving a front wheel drive in real life, so I will have a go at him for driving that and not on there.
Congratulations, Ollie, and nice shout, Jack. So welcome back, mate, and I dare say we might get to catch up with you a little bit later on. Jack Smith, well done, 3rd place.
Yeah, cheers.
Great to have Jack Smith. To have back on the podium as well, Scott Brno, P2. Scott, what a drive, well done.
Hello, yeah, thank you very much. It was touch and go again. It was, do I go soft, do I go mediums? And yeah, I just wanted to be safe and go on the mediums, but Jack had really good grip towards the end, and my tyres were having none of it. So it was kind of just stop it on the apex and hope for the best, and managed to hold him off. But yeah, it was really good racing. Thank you.
Are you going to stick to the medium for the next one?
I think so. Yeah, I think I drive too hard. I think just to make the soft last.
Okay.
So I just need to keep getting points, really. We've outscored Josh in this first one. See what happens in the second one. But I think it's just about points now. Don't need to go for the win straight away and get points deducted. And what have you, and get involved in incidents like I did last week, where you know, getting taken out in all 3 races. So just get points and see where we go from there.
How easy is it to get the mindset and sort of get roped into frustration, you know, when you have a week like you did last week? I mean, it wasn't a bad week points wise because you dropped score so far, but you know, you were on the overall podium for the event, so it wasn't that bad. But how easy is it to get sucked into the sort of psychological downers?
I mean, to be honest with you, after Wednesday night, I went to bed and I woke up absolutely fine the next day. It's one of them, you know. Like Rich says in the driver's briefing, you know, we're all here for a bit of fun, and we want to enjoy it and have good racing, and we all make mistakes, and past is in the past, and we're here today and do what we can, and you know, we put on a good show for you guys and Rich and the people watching on YouTube and whatever else. So that's what we do it for, and we love doing it, and we'll keep doing it.
I was just looking at the poll. I mean, I write loads of stuff down, and you know, we've had 4 different poll setters in this. It's so tight, isn't it?
It is, yeah, no, it really is, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not really a qualifier, so I will be very surprised if I ever speak to you after qualifying, and if I do, it's a miracle. But yeah, it is tight. You know, when you're looking at the times, like this, I was looking this afternoon on my lunch break. You know, I think there was Craig, Adam, and Thomas Potter within sort of like 3/4 of a tenth. You know, and it's them small margins that, you know, you need just to get in onto that front row now. And Jack's made it probably a little bit easier for us being away for the last couple of weeks. So I should have probably jumped at pole position whilst I could, but. No, I mean, the weight is, you know, I spoke to Josh the other night, and even Josh said the weight is, yeah, it's a killer. So, you know, and he's found it the hard way, and he said to me the other day, it's even getting the car turned and braking and acceleration. I was watching Jack out the hairpins, and he was just on me like a rash. So that's why I'm just here just to try and get points now, and, you know, not get involved in too many incidents and keep my nose clean.
That was brilliant. That was a lovely race to watch. Well done, mate. Absolute pleasure to call that one as well. So well done. Scott Bugner, 2nd position, and we'll catch up with you a bit later on.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Scott Bugner there. And our winner. And, well, how about this? 4 meetings in, and he's taken a race win at all 4 of them. And keeping that tradition up, Adam Lyle. Very well done, mate. Well away down the road. You must be well chuffed with it.
I am, yes. I did obviously have a bit of an incident with Craig at the start of lap 1. I've apologised to Craig, but I'm pretty sure that was unavoidable. So hopefully it stands.
And just drove away, and you did what you have to do in that position, you know, fastest lap as well. You know, is that what you focus on? I mean, if you're getting away, every lap's a qualifying lap?
Yeah, I think I said last week, this is probably my favourite track on the calendar anyway.
Right.
I wanted to win. I wanted to make it 4 in 4. Yeah, luckily they was battling behind, and that helped me make it happen.
You won last time we were at Assen, so, you know, as you say, one of your favourites. Andy Dorman won the other race, I think. But so you sort of maintain the momentum not only on the track but also in this championship as well. So really, really cracking start, isn't it?
Yeah, I've had a win every time we've raced here, the 1 Series and the Cupras, and obviously now I've just got this one. So fingers crossed, this track keeps getting used.
You'd be lobbying.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so thoughts on the tyres? A change for race 2, or are you going to stick with what you got? Obviously, there's more work to do starting further back.
Yeah, I think there's too much traffic in front for softs in this one. They was absolutely gone. I was having to brake a hell of a lot earlier. I think with the traffic, they'll be dead an extra lap earlier. So I think it's got to be mediums for this.
And aims for the next 2 races?
Next 2 races? Well, I'd love to say win them, but I'd rather win the race 1 over the reverse grids. They're easy. But the race 1's the hard ones, isn't it? If you ask me.
Yeah, do you know? I mean, they've all got their thing, haven't they? Because you've got to qualify well to be up at the sharp end
Exactly.
And that's by essence what racing is all about. That's the traditional go for it. If you can grab a reverse win from 7th or 8th on the grid, I remember having a conversation with one of the young lads in F4, Akil Alibi, who got a reverse grid win, and he won it from 7th on the grid, and he was like, it was his first win, but he was dead chuffed that he hadn't done it off the front of the reverse. So yeah, I can take your point, but win's a win though, isn't it?
I mean, obviously, it's nice if you do get it from a bit further back. But obviously, race 1, you've qualified with all the quicker drivers, haven't you? So I think that's the nicest way to win them.
It's pure, isn't it? I agree with that. And that was a pure class win for Adam Lyle. Well done, Adam. We'll maybe catch you a little bit later on the podium again. But congratulations.
Thank you, Rich.
So there we go, Adam Lyle. What a record that is. 4 we've had, and Adam's taken a win at each of those 3 race 1 wins as well. So he's been qualifying superbly. And we head into race 2, which is the partially grid. It gives us a chance to look at some other drivers. This is a little bit like mini racing, isn't it, Lydia? Where we get the bit of a reverse. Lee Pearcey on pole with John Jones alongside. But it's a good aspect, isn't it, of mini racing?
It is, yes. It brings often different people to the front, so I'm excited to see how this race pans out, really, because we've obviously got some of the faster qualifiers behind the front group, so I'm excited to see if they actually make it through or not. So yeah, we'll see.
Lee Pearcey on the medium tyre. Then we've got John Jones soft, Teapot soft, Chris Blakey soft, Josh Martin soft. In fact, they're soft all the way down to Jack Smith, who's on the medium in 8th place as we are about to go racing reverse. Now, this is always the worrying moment on a reverse grid. Are we going to get a little bit of damage? We won't get a safety car, but we may well get some place changing going on already. And it's Lee Pearcey that leads them down into turn 1. Thomas Potter up into 2nd place from 4th on the grid. Chris Blakey is in 3rd. Let's hope that Chris can stay with the top group a little bit longer in this one. Maybe he was bundled. I was probably looking at notes when that happened last time out. It's Lee Pearcey out front. And another very capable driver as Craig Curtis has a look around the outside, looking to try and get back on towards podium positions here. Craig's come through superbly, isn't he? He's already up to 4th, and he was 4th in the previous race, and putting the pressure on Thomas Potter. He's going to have a look on the inside here. Thomas left the door open, and there was a little bit of room, but not enough to maybe go through the inside. This is where you can see what they were saying, what Jack Smith was saying about how difficult it is to overtake on this track. Now, dare I say this, Lydia, but it's settled down quite well for a reverse grid opening lap.
It seems a lot cleaner than this week, so long may it continue. But Lee Pearcey had a good start, but they're all over it. So there, he got held up a little bit, and that's yeah, they're all pretty close, aren't they? So I think you can almost throw a towel over. So it's going to get spicy coming into the chicane, I think. So we'll see.
Chris Blakey having a good go at Lee Pearcey here. So 2 distinct sort of pairs battling as they come into the final corners of the opening lap. They make a quartet actually once they've sorted themselves all out. Got John Jones in 5th position, hanging in well. Great to see John completing a lap with the lead group. But there is Lee Pearcey still ahead of Chris Blakey, who's going to just nip across and grab the line from Thomas Potter. A little bit wide there was Lee Pearcey, but keeps good momentum. They will sort themselves out. Craig Curtis 4th as he was in race number 1, just behind as well. Then John Jones, Josh Martin 6th from Andy Carroll, Adam Lyle, Scott Bugner 9th. And a little bit of contact there. Thomas Potter gets into the side of Chris Blakey, gets P2. And Chris Blakey, now did he return the cockpit? There was a rub on the back end of Thomas Potter, who cuts across the grass, comes back onto the circuit. So touring car, if you ain't rubbing, you ain't racing. That's what they always say. But tell you what, Chris Blakey's having had contact, still in P2. Not for long though.
Just as you said that, he went off. Potter did well to keep out of the barrier, but there's a lot of sideways action going on behind. I don't know if they'll manage to make it to that. Can't see it at the moment. I think they have actually.
Yeah, there's a few drivers dropping down the order. They were waiting for lap 2, weren't they, before they started getting stuck into each other. It's good for Lee Pearcey though. Craig Curtis is going to be able to get the composition man. He's going to be able to get the win in the reverse grid race, try and close down on Lee Pearcey. Craig's on the soft tyre, so they might go off towards the end. Lee Pearcey on the medium, the race leader. So definitely got a race on our hands here. Josh Martin up into third now, looking on the outside. The white and green livery of Josh Martin, the championship leader, coming into the event. So he will try and close down. John Jones fourth, running well. And John putting Josh under pressure. Then it's Andy Carroll and Adam Lyle down behind, side by side though, with Craig Curtis looking around the outside. Craig's got the lead. Great run out of the chicane from Craig Curtis. Gets the lead from Lee Pearcey. And Craig will be fired up after taking pole position. And, well, you heard the interview with Adam Lyle about the contact earlier on in race one. Judicials, of course, will no doubt happen in due course. But Adam Lyle here showing a distinct liking for Assen. That's the way to come back, isn't it? With pole position, lose out. You know what? We'll come and get the leading race 2 instead.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I don't really know what happened to Pearcey. He seemed to have a rubbish run out of the final corner. I don't know if something happened or what really went on there, but it just gave Craig Curtis the room to get past, and he'd actually done the pass before the first corner, which was really impressive. But Josh Martin, I'm actually really impressed with. He's come from quite far back, P7, P8, and he's up to, well, he's on the podium at the moment and setting quite good lap times. But Craig Curtis is now setting 3 seconds. But we've got Adam Lyle with purple, so I think he's doing well.
Yeah, Adam is, isn't he? He's going to try and climb up there from 6th position at the moment. Fastest lap of the race with Olivia Krzyżanowska at the moment, a 1:43.546. Am I looking at the wrong place? 1:43, 1:44. Looking at the other time. So Olivia running well. Another current oval driver racing 2-litre hot rods up at Lochgelly Raceway. So I can't remember whether the Porsches are at Lochgelly this year. Is that on your calendar, video? Knockhill, I should say.
Yeah, up at Knockhill. Yeah, I haven't been to Lochgelly actually.
I think we'll all be going over to.
Layout.
Yeah, I think we'll try and leave. I'm always filming to about 6 o'clock, and it starts at something like 5, so it's always I'm always late. But I think we'll be going to cheer Olivia on if she's racing that night.
Nice, cool. A bit of culture for you, Richard.
I love my oval racing. Always a great welcome north of the border as well. I love their short oval racing up there. It's a great track, and we've got a good battle going on here at the moment. Josh Martin goes through into P2. Lee Pearcey down to 3rd. Adam Lyle's closing up as well. Adam wants to bag another podium here, so we're going to have another game of podium bingo here. Josh Martin did it last time, so did Adam Lyle. I overlooked Adam last time, apologies for that. But he's had the win. Is he going to be able to get a P3 or a 2 to add to that? Maybe even the win as well. Craig Curtis, though, you can see disappearing down the road. Craig doing what he needs to do in this one, having got into the front, now starting to get away. And now he's got that clear track in front of him. He's got fastest lap as well, as you ride with Adam Lyle. Which position out of these 3 is preferable for a race, Olivia? The leader, the mid one, or the chaser?
At the moment, you're probably safe on the right because he's watching everything unfold. Josh Martin did a fantastic overtake, lunge up into that corner just at the start of the circuit there, but unfortunately it was all for nothing really because Pearcey got straight back past him, and it seems that any time that Josh Martin tries to make a move, he's kind of hindered on the exit and ends up losing the spot again. So I'm not really sure where he's going to make a move, but he does seem to be the quicker of the 3 at the moment. But I mean, saying that, Adam Lyle seems to be sitting there and waiting, so I think perhaps next couple of corners or so we might be seeing some.
I think we will do. Lee Pearcey, another driver with roots on ovals. His dad raced on the short ovals. Group A hot rods at Arena. You won't remember those. You probably don't even know what a Group A is.
No, I don't, sorry.
My
dad probably does.
Your dad will know. Mike will know. Mike Jr. will know for sure. And talk about the golden days of Jeff Pearcey and Jason Hunn and people like that who raced in the 2 leagues going back in the Group A hot rods years ago. Slightly sort of more cost-effective version of Nationals, really. They were a great formula. And great training around for Jeff Pearcey. He was on the front cover of Short Circuit. You've heard of Short Circuit magazine?
Yes, of course I have. Yeah. We picked up a few of them copies over the years, yeah.
So he's doing a good job here. I tell you what, he's doing a Scott Bugner here, isn't he, at the moment? Defending P2 for his life with Adam Lyle in 2nd, Josh Martin down to 3rd. Josh is going to have a look at the outside run. Josh on the soft tyre. Lee Pearcey is the medium tyre runner here. But now coming under pressure from Adam Lyle, who's looking around the outside again. This is exactly what we saw Jack Smith doing last time round. Jack Smith is down in 14th, so not having a happy race at the moment. Jack, just keeping a quick eye on that one. Thomas Potter in 15th. Olivia Krzyzkowska's up into the top 10. Meanwhile, we focus on the battle for P2, 6 minutes 42 to go. And Lee Pearcey, I'm going to be really disappointed if we don't get to talk to Lee on the podium after this.
He's having an incredible race, really, isn't he? And to be honest, he's not overly defensive. He seems quite confident, even if someone passes him from behind, he's pretty confident that he'll get the spot back on the cutback. So I'm really impressed with the confidence in his driving. He's not overly well, so that he's a bit bogged down on the exit there. But he still seems to be holding on. I don't really quite know how, but he's pretty. I mean, even there, he's not defending into the corner. He's sitting tight on the outside to get that optimum exit. So I'm really impressed with that.
And lead Audi as well. Everybody else that's been sort of banging in points has been in a Hyundai. But we've got John Jones in the Audi as well in 5th position. So it's Hyundai from Audi, 2 more Hyundais, then another Audi, Hyundai, Audi, Nathan Smith 7th. Chris Blakey Audi mounted in 8th place as well. Alex Forster in the lone Cupra is down in 9th place. I hope Alex is enjoying his campaign with us. But now, and this is probably the good news for Lee Pearcey, is that Josh Martin and Adam Lyle swap places. The fact that they're battling might give Lee Pearcey a little bit of respite for a couple of laps, although Josh Martin will be back on the offensive as we look at the clear track. Not really what Lee Pearcey wants at the moment. He'd much rather have Craig Curtis within his sights. As Josh Martin now, little mistake there from Pearson. Josh Martin is through into P2. Pearcey's going to lose P3 as well. A little bit of a clatter, big clatter actually, with Adam Lyle, and he does lose out 3rd place, loses out 4th as well. John Jones has come through up into 4th place and he's now lead Audi. John Jones, super stuff from the 639 up into 4th position. So brilliant stuff from John Jones. Lovely to see him up with the lead group as we enter the last third of this race. But it's Curtis from Martin, Lyle, Jones, Nathan Smith in 5th place, Lee Pearcey down in 6th now trying to fight back. But that was a frantic lap.
It was. Blink and you missed it. If you've just tuned in, this is not what it was about 30 seconds ago. I mean, crazy, really. Lee Pearcey really was a little bit unfortunate there. He's gone from P2 down to P5 now, so he's got a spot back there. But yeah, Josh Martin, quite crucial for the championship, really. I mean, he didn't have the best first race, did he? But he's pouring it back in race 2. Unfortunately, he's just lost P2 there, I believe. Yes, he has. So
yeah.
But he still seems pretty quick. He still seems to sort of have the legs. I'm surprised actually that the soft tyre is lasting as long as it is. You'd think the leader at this point would kind of be hanging on a little bit more, but they still seem to have quite a lot of life in them tyres. They're turning it in pretty well. They don't seem to be struggling with understeer on the exit. So yeah, but I mean the lead that Craig Curtis has, it's pretty much we saw in race 1, wasn't it? It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, he's going to feel this is a little bit of redemption, isn't he? A little bit of karma after race number 1. So good, 4th in race 1. I'll tell you what, Craig Curtis could be on at the moment. So he's going to be top point scorer. No, Adam Lyle will be top point scorer because he had the win in race 1. And he's running in P2 in this one at the moment. So Adam Lyle and Craig Curtis, though, are going to be off the back of the grid for the fully reversed half-hour feature race with the added bonus of we never know what tyres they're going to come in on or come out on, and also we don't know when they're going to do the stop. So the feature race is great stuff. This is looking a little bit more settled now, and I think Josh Martin, with the extra ballast here, the championship leader, will be happy. 6th position race 1. This has been a great drive so far. I'll tell you what, he's not settling for second, is he?
No, he isn't. He's still trying, isn't he? He just seems to lose a little bit on those exits there. But I mean, if you think about it, he's carrying 34 kilos, which you certainly wouldn't want to be walking around with that in your pocket, would you? So it's quite a big difference. It's not something to not think about, because if you think perhaps high-speed corners not quite so crucial, but when you've got those sort of stop-starter corners out the hairpin, for example, he's definitely going to be losing out there. So he's doing pretty well to hold on to where he is, I would say, at the moment.
Nathan Smith, the driver behind them as well. Nathan, who started off so strongly our first round at Brno, had 2nd in race 1, won race 2, 5th in the feature race, and he is in that group as well, running in 4th place. So great to see Nathan Smith back up the sharp end as well. John Jones still in 6th, having a good race, but he's been caught now being challenged by the likes of Andy Carroll and Chris Blakey. Alex Forster ahead of them as well. And again, not far away from podium positions, these guys. Again, very, very close indeed. Chris Blakey 9th, Olivia Krzyżanowska is in 10th. Chris Blakey, you can see at the back of the group, black and gold, the copper and gold. Car of Alex Forster immediately ahead of them. Andy Carroll having a look here. John Jones goes a little bit wide, gets a little tagged as John Jones. But great to see John up with the lead group with 1:34 remaining on the clock. So Craig Curtis looks set for a second win of the campaign. 2 meetings on the bounce for him, assuming he doesn't have any problems with his soft tyres. All of the top 4 drivers on the soft tyre as we continue to watch Andy Carroll now trying to pass John Jones. Looks like John could be on for his best result of the campaign so far. This will be his first finish in the top 10. Drops down to 9th place with Andy Carroll going through, but still running a good strong run is John Jones, which is great to see. Now the pack going through, 1 minute on the clock, so this will be the last lap.
Andy Carroll has a lot of damage on the right-hand side of that car, left-hand side of that car, sorry. I don't really know quite where he's been or what's been happening. I think we might have missed that one. I think perhaps maybe why he's struggling down in P8 a little bit. Yeah, not quite sure you can see there. There's a lot of damage on the left-hand side of that car, almost like a driver. I don't think it has, but perhaps a little bit feisty further down the field there. And actually quite a lot of damage to the car behind him as well. Jones? Is that the red
Jones, yeah.
Yeah, so don't quite know what's happened there, whether they've had it coming together or what's happening there, but perhaps maybe that's why we're seeing a little bit of damage down the field there.
Yeah, John's driven really well here. Was near the podium, wasn't he, earlier on? But this is going to be his best finish of the campaign so far as Craig Curtis heads towards the flag out front. Andy Carroll still trying to close down Alex Forster, but the P2 driver Adam Lyle running well. Here is Craig Curtis, though, the man who set pole position in fine style at the start of the event and had a good comeback drive in race number 1. And he's underlined that. He's underlined the form here with a super drive to get into the front and pull clear. Fastest lap of the race so far as well. Comes out of the final turn and will make it a second win of the campaign for Craig Curtis. It's going to be Adam Lyle in P2 and Josh Martin in P3. Craig Curtis delighted with that. Josh Martin will be pleased to get on the podium as well. Nathan Smith comes home in 4th place. Return to form for Nathan. Lee Pearcey is in 5th place. So another good. He's been very consistent so far this year. Be surprised if he doesn't get a podium before too long. Chris Blakey 6th from Alex Forster. Then Jack Smith, who was right down the bottom of the early stages, comes through for 8th from Scott Bugner. Then it was Andy Carroll. John Jones 11th after all said and done from Olivia Krzyżanowska, and Thomas Potter 13th, Sam Walton and Kenny Press completing the 15. Top 3 of which we'll talk to in just a couple of minutes. So, podium time. Who should we start off with? Third position, isn't it? That's the normal form that we do. Josh Martin is back on the podium. Lots of ballast. Lydia said you must have strong pockets. That ballast.
Yeah, I felt like a mobile chicane, to be honest, especially in the first race when I was with Lee for a good chunk of time, and I felt so slow down that back straight. But yeah, it's one of those. I struggle with understeer at the best of times, and obviously this car likes to understeer anyway, and then you go and throw the extra weight on it, and it just makes it understeer more.
How much extra ballast have you got from last week? I can't remember.
I think it's only probably another 10 or 12 kilos.
Quite a lot, though, isn't it?
So yeah, it doesn't sound much, but it's noticeably quite a lot. And yeah, these types of European tracks with the more flowy open long corners don't really suit me too much either. So yeah, a bit of a damage limitation evening, but yeah, happy to get a third, that's for sure.
You beat Scott, so I mean Scott got the better of you in race 1 with a P2. You were 6 in race 1, and then obviously a third here. So decent points for championship leader. And I guess you won't want to add too much more ballast on, will you? Really?
I don't think I can really get much more. So
You're pretty much there.
I can only go down pretty much. So yeah, I don't think I need to worry too much about that.
Scored pretty well, so what can we expect? You've been a little bit of a master tactician like Mr. Potter in the reverse grid races, with second in the last 2 rounds in the reverse grid race and third at Brno. So you've always been on the podium in the reverse grid race. Can you maintain that today?
Yeah, I feel generally quite strong with the strategy, and each week I've had a pretty good idea what I'm going to do with tyres. But yeah, I'm a little bit on the fence for this one, to be fair, because it's a funny one, because the tyres wear out quite a lot. Like I had not much of the softs left, but there's not as much of a time drop off at this track for like the wear, the wear level of the tyre.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit of a funny one because I saw how quickly they were going to wear out, and I had quite a good idea on what tyre I was going to do. But because I ran mediums in race 1, I went softs on race 2 to try and gain a few places and then hold everyone up. But yeah, and the softs actually were quicker towards the end of the stint than I had in mind. So it's put me a little bit on the fence what I'm going to do for the feature, but I'm sure I'll make something work.
Okay, well, we'll give you the extra. Third place gives you the extra time to think about that while we're talking to the other drivers. So that's quite handy. But always a pleasure. Well done, Josh. Congratulations on the podium. And we might speak to you on the podium again a little bit later on. Best luck for race 3.
Yeah, I'll give it my best shot. Thank
Good
you very
man.
much.
Josh Martin, position driver. And in second position, we're on for the podium bingo again, but 100% on the podium. And I think the only driver now that can do it in all 3 races for this event. Very well done, Adam Lyle. Another cracking. That was a great race as well, Adam. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, I did better in that than I thought. So, yeah.
And not easy at all, is it?
No, not when you've got quite a few fast drivers in front of you. But I think it was Jack directly in front of me on the grid.
Right.
And just like the second stage of the launch, I just seemed to pull and just see a gap through the middle, so I went straight past him off the line before turn 1, which luckily that helped. And yeah, the rest, there was a little bit of carnage, people running wide, so just pick them off.
It sometimes falls that way. I mean, we get many a driver obviously getting frustrated with contact or bad luck or whatever else, but sometimes things open up and you've got to read your way through that. So it's not just luck, it is about trying to read your way through it as well, isn't it? And you did that well, and you had a great race with Josh as well.
Yes, because I've seen Josh hasn't quite been on the pace this week, luckily. I see he was there, and I thought, oh, he's battling a bit harder than I thought he would. So that obviously kills my tyres a lot earlier this time. But luckily, I think he made the mistake in the chicane. It was a little bit slow, so I got a good exit and just got the drive past him, and luckily it was enough to keep it.
That's good. And obviously, race 3, another podium. Can you do it from the back? I mean, 15 really decent drivers, and you're going to be the top scorer now, having had the win in the second.
I'm going to give it a go. I know I'm seem to get a little bit of a tumble in these races, but we'll give it a go. See if we can keep it clean and let everyone else take each other out, and hopefully just slide through to the win. It'd be lovely.
Well, we'll see how that goes. Very well done, double podium, and adding even more points to a great points tally. That's why Adam Lyle. Congratulations on P2.
Thank you, Rich.
So we get of the podium and our second chat of the evening. I thought it would have been the third, given race number 1, very, very nearly on the podium. But first of all, congratulations, Craig Curtis, a great comeback from the opening of race 1. And let's start with that. You didn't. I mean, obviously you were going to be cross or fired up, but you kept measured, and it was a great drive, wasn't it, to get back from race 1 into 4?
Yeah, it was. Obviously a little bit disappointing to just cross the line behind Jack and Scott. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what happened. First 2 or 3 corners after the start, I was just sliding everywhere, which was very strange. The fuel load wasn't any different compared to what I did before. So I just slid. I think I just lightly turned across Adam's path a little bit. So we'll have to look back at the replays. But yeah, I think I rejoined back in P10 or P11. But I enjoy the races in the pack as well. So it's Assen's always a good circuit for racing on, and managed to pick them off one by one. Eventually I got up to Jack and Scott, but the tyres had gone by then anyway, so I just had zero traction out of the corners and just tried to get the straight line speed down. But happy with the P4th, good recovery, and then this race started in P7, had a good start, and again I think I was up to P4 on the first lap, and then Lee, I think he got the last chicane slightly wide, so I managed to get a run into turn 1, and then that was it. I knew on the softs I had to build up as much of a lead as I can before the tyres start to drop off. I had about 3 or 4 laps, and then they did start to drop off, so yeah, happy with that. By then I had a 6 or 7 second lead, so I was happy to sort of lift and coast and bring it home. Happy.
I should imagine you are. I mean, as you say, from P7 on the grid, the result, if you look at it, you think, well, perfect race, fastest lap as well, but not easy, because there were a lot of drivers that were, and we're seeing this more and more, the drivers that end up in the reverse section at the front of the grid and holding their own for longer and longer. We saw it there, particularly with Lee Pearce is not normally as kind of a reverse grid driver, but John Jones particularly did a sterling first 2/3 of that race. So none of them were making it easy.
No, yeah, well, you are right. I saw John in my mirrors up into P4 or P3, I think it was at one point on lap 2 or 3. And I thought, go on, John. It's it's nice to have different drivers at the front. But like I said, we've raced with each other long enough now. We know how to race back and forth, and there is a little bit of bumping going on, which is natural. But at the end of the day, it's all good fun. And like I said, I won from P15 last week, so hopefully I can make the strategy work again, but we'll see. Once I'm out of the first corner, I'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll be interested to see how that works out. Now, interestingly, you both, yourself, Adam and Josh, all pretty bullish about strategies, and as this strategy is still kind of relatively new. It's only the second season of, or the second run of 8 events, isn't it, that we've had with VRRC? So I think everyone's still getting to grips with it a little bit. Yeah,
I mean, last week was the first time I actually made the pit stops work. Last time, I've only done a few races before that of the new format, and I either took on way too much fuel or didn't change the tyres, and just little sort of rookie mistakes really. But yeah, so last week was the first one that I've actually done right, and it worked. So hopefully I've memorised it now, so I can hopefully make it work this time. But obviously looking ahead of me now on the grid, I got Jack, Josh, Andy Carroll, Adams up there as well. So yeah, Scott as well. It's all to play for.
Yeah, it certainly is. A good score would put you into being partial champion.
I hope so. Yes, you did say. You did say. So yeah, that's my target now, and yeah, obviously I'm just hoping for a good, clean race, and the top 3 I'll be happy with, and then like I said, I got one more round next week before my break. So yeah, just want to make it count.
Excellent. Well, Craig, well done. I'm glad we got the winners interview with you. Karma seems to pan its way out in the end, doesn't it, and work out. So that's great stuff. Congratulations, fine drive, great win, and best luck for race 3 in a few moments' time.
Thanks very much. Hopefully I'll have a chat with you in half an hour.
Fingers crossed. Thanks, Craig Curtis, our winner. Brilliant stuff for Craig's second win of the campaign. Won the feature race Poznan last time out, and we're into reverse grid feature race territory now. So Lydia, a little bit different here. Obviously not something that you have in minis, not something you're going to have in Porsche racing as well, but there is a bit of strategy going to be at play here.
Well, not something intentionally that we do anyway. But yeah, I'm excited actually to see how this pans out. When you're looking down the starting grid, you can see a lot of different tyres, and we've even got some hard tyres coming into the mix there as well. So we'll see how they last, and sort of what strategy is best really. I mean, I'm guessing these guys have done a lot of testing, so they'll know what works and what doesn't. So yeah.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, you'd hope so, but I guess everything changes at the last minute anyway, doesn't it?
And as ever, reverse grid race can throw up some some surprises, and it's unusual to see Kenny Press on pole position for a reverse grid race. Nathan Smith, who was having a good race in that previous one, alongside, so he's going to be strong. John Jones had a brilliant first stint, as we said in the last one. He's third. From Sam Walton, who deserves better luck. Thomas Potter has been very, very good at strategy from starting off the front in recent rounds, so he could go good guns here on the soft tire from fifth. And Olivia Krishnovska completing the top six. So Olivia actually hasn't scored too badly today, and let's see how they'll run as the lighting sequence is now complete, and we are racing here. Nathan Smith looks to get away well. Thomas Potter flies in front of John Jones. Very well read indeed there by Thomas Potter. But it's Kenny Press that will lead them down into turn one for the first time. He's got a decent lead here. Thomas Potter up into P2, fifth on the grid from Sam Walton. Now Thomas here won't want Nathan Smith to get away too far, but side by side with Sam Walton, Thomas Potter trying to make it stick around the outside. I think he's got the position done, but gets tagged on the rear end. He held on to it masterfully there, did Thomas Potter, and now we've got a swarm of cars all over Sam Walton at the moment. It's nerve-wracking when you get your go off the front, particularly if the car's not running as well as it might have been or as well as you want it to go in the earlier races. Suddenly find yourself thrust to the front of the grid. Jack Smith is fifth, actually make that fourth place, passes Olivia Krishnovska in the Phoenix black and yellow livery with the salt tyre, the flag of St Andrew on top of the car. And Olivia making the most of the run from the start up to fifth. From sixth on the grid is Olivia, but Nathan Smith the leader from Thomas Potter and Sam Walton in P3. Sam coming under pressure now from Jack Smith, who had a quiet race too, and we'll see what he can do in this one. He'll certainly know the tactics well. Looks on the inside run, won the BMW Championship, of course, which had the reverse grid racing and the compulsory pit stop, so he's well used to the strategy. And you can see again, he's not busting himself to make lunges to go after that third place. He's going to wait for the moment, try and pick off the third place driver when the chance arises to do that, and it may well be now, but it's giving Sam Walton space, and you know that was I guess twofold really. One is that Jack Smith's that type of driver, he'll think things through, Lydia, but also he won't want to upset anyone else's championship coming into this competition at round 4.
Had a fantastic start off the line. He's unfortunately lost P2 there, and running a little bit wide there. Perhaps, I don't know, but yeah, Thomas. Contact on lap 1.
He is. This is classic Thomas Potter reverse grid strategy going on here. Get in the front on the soft tyres. Run them as long as you can, use the clear track, not have to overwork the tyres, but he's got the two Smiths behind him now, not the Smith brothers, but separate Smith racing families. We've got Nathan from the truck racing team, and Jack Smith, our multi-champion, who now makes it up into P2. So this is going to be a fascinating battle with Nathan, Jack and Thomas Potter at 1, 2 and 3. Jack Smith on the soft tyre as well, so similar strategy to Thomas Potter in terms of going on softs first, whether it's an early stop. If the soft tyres seem to have been lasting quite well, so 15 minutes, we've seen the soft tyres lasting for 15 minutes, so maybe 17, 18 minutes for the soft tyre and then come on to the medium for the second part, or would you leave it a bit longer, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, they seem to be, the drivers in their interviews seem to be pretty surprised with how long they're actually lasting, don't they? But
yeah,
they're saying sort of by the 15-minute mark they are struggling, so I don't know really. I'm guessing they're wanting to get away and see how much of a gap they can build, and then perhaps they can swap. But pretty quick here. Nathan Smith actually almost looked like he let Jack pass. So whether that was, I don't know if he had a problem or whether he just wants to tuck in behind and follow. But either way, it seems to be the sensible decision because they've now not lost the leader, have they?
Absolutely, they haven't. They're still in with a shout here. These three cars all squabbling are going to perhaps come to grief. Andy Carroll trying to work his way through. Sorry, Craig Curtis trying to work his way through the order. And Craig Curtis, Andy Carroll still in the mix as well. Down behind them, Sam Walton in 7th. And great battle here, but Craig Curtis, he's made super progress, hasn't he? Up into P4 now, Craig Curtis. Now remember, a 4th and a 1st. So inevitably, we look for Adam Lyle, who was top scorer, 1st and 2nd, and Lyle down in 10th place on the medium tyre. Craig Curtis on the soft, so that's why Craig has decided to use the soft tyre to try and come through the field. And he's done superbly. There is Adam Lyle, top point scorer so far. Chris Blakey immediately in front of him, and Josh Martin lost a bit of ground on Sam Walton in P7 immediately ahead of those guys, but Thomas Potter, the race leader, 1.4 seconds clear now as we watch Scott Budner trying to get back here at Craig Curtis. Scott Budner running on the medium tyre. Scott and Andy Carroll are the two teammates and both the leading runners on the medium tyre. So we've kind of got, actually no, Nathan Smith's leading on medium, he's in 3rd place, but Craig Curtis is off, and then a clutch of medium runners headed by Scott Budner, Andy Carroll, Sam Walton, but Martin leading as well. Chris Blakey next up and Adam Lyle. Out of the 3 drivers we spoke to on the podium, I think Josh Martin was the one who was sort of questioning his strategy that he got sort of lined up, and I don't think it's gone wrong thus far. Purple sectors and the race leader Thomas Potter, again that's part of the plan for Thomas, try and build a good lead. But Josh Martin here on the medium tyre, if he swaps it to the soft, maybe just before half distance, could find himself with some more places to go and perhaps on for a podium.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, if you look at the front, well, 2 P3s on the medium and P4s on the soft as well, so they're definitely going to be struggling at the end, but how much of a difference the medium to the soft tyre makes, we certainly don't really know, do we? Until they make the swap. So whether it will be enough to actually bring him back into competition, we'll have to wait and see. But he does seem to be struggling a little bit in comparison to the other cars in front of him on the medium tyre, which is a shame really, because he had quite a lot of pace in the race too, didn't he? But I mean, here he seems to be under quite a lot of pressure, running wide a little bit there as well. So perhaps that medium tyre is just not working as well as it work. You see there, he's quite slow out of the final corner, and he's been passed. I think he'll be passed by turn 1.
Yeah, that's Chris Blakey, isn't it? It's gone past. So Adam Lyle's going to have a look as well. Quite close enough, Adam Lyle, but Chris Blakey managed to go through. Now, Chris is on the hard tyre.
Oh.
So hard tyre, but hard tyre, but ballasted up, of course, is Josh Martin as championship leader. So he'll be hoping to maybe lose a little bit of ballast, as we heard now, as Adam Lyle gets involved. But Chris Blakey made a little mistake there, ran wide, and Josh goes through. Not too much of a mistake because he's recovered well, and Adam Lyle couldn't make the most of that. But Chris Blakey, you can see he's got the pace, and the hard-tied runner is going to have to try and make the stick on the outside. He's got the inside line for the next corner, so gets the position back here from Josh Martin. Now, while they're squabbling, of course, they're not really making any ground in the race, and they might start thinking about, because we're very nearly, we're heading down to the first third of the race, they might start thinking, those on the harder compound, about coming in and changing time and sort of getting out of this battling.
I think Josh Martin is struggling with his ballast a little bit, because that pass there, you see made not a bit of a hash of the corner really, and still managed to pass him by the next corner. I think when he's getting on the power, that car's just picking up speed a lot quicker than Martin's is. So I think that might be kind of Martin's stumbling block at the moment, but I mean, there's quite a gap as well, isn't there, like you said, so it's certainly not helping with them keeping in, even when they switch to that soft tyre. There's going to be quite a gap between.
Oh!
Is that contact with the barrier then? I think
that was Adam Lyle, yeah. I'm not sure if he got forced off, I didn't see, but he's gone into the barrier. Back on track for Adam Lyle, chasing points here, so we'll see how that's affected him. We're back now with P2. This is Jack Smith. He's still got Thomas Potter within sights. 1.2 seconds the gap between first and second. And Thomas won't want to start having to get into defensive mode. So we're thinking about strategy. But what he will know is that Jack Smith is a fantastic driver to learn from. So if Jack does get in front of him, Thomas will learn plenty, because there's a bit of an age difference. Remember that Thomas is the youngest driver in the field, not even of age to race junior formulae on the circuits at the moment. There's the DS Commercials Nathan Smith car. I think he said truck then, because I was thinking about David Smith, who races in the truck racing. Nice to see a full grid already. Not many championships have announced full grids for next year, or partial grids for next year, but the truck championship, they've already published the full list of everybody in the full race Division 1 and Division 2. Fair play to them. Dave Smith and, of course, the Smith family part of that. So, yeah, if you want assured full grids next year, truck racing is already the place to go and watch that. And I'm sure they'll have some great action to entertain us, as Nathan's doing at the moment, trying to close down on Scott Bugner as we watch Thomas Potter. I'll tell you what, Thomas is coming under pressure here. Jack Smith is getting into a groove with this car. Remember, Lydia, he said that he'd only jumped on this for the first time 5 or 6 o'clock this evening. And this is the mark of one of our top drivers.
Yeah, it's incredible, really, isn't it? When you think that he's not really had a lot of time in the car, probably not many laps around the circuit either. So the fact that he's had such a good showing already and seems to be pretty on pace at the moment. I mean, he's closing in pretty rapidly onto Thomas Potter there, wasn't he? I mean, I think he's pretty much half the gap that he had at this point on the last lap. So he's closing in pretty quick. I don't think it'll be long before we see a challenge. Whether he makes it past or not, we'll have to wait and see. But he seems pretty quick at the moment. He's making that soft tyre last quite well, which is good to see. And he's actually getting... Look at this closing speed there. He got it turned in, really managed to get on the power quite quickly there, and closed in on Thomas Potter quite a lot there. I mean, he's going for the line now,
He's having a look, and again, he won't risk anything because he knows that Thomas is, challenging for the championship. Thomas 9th in the table at the moment, just ahead of Lee Pearcey, and could well be a challenger by the time we get to the end of the campaign. And Jack won't want to mess that up. But we were having the conversation, as many people are now. Jack's in the championship. Don't bet against him being in the running for the championship lead when we get to the end of the campaign. And he tees up the inside here. Lovely racing move here from Jack Smith, side by side with Thomas Potter, who decides that he's had enough and comes into the pit lane. So Thomas Potter, rather than getting broiled, is going into pit lane. That leaves Jack Smith out front. Potter, the first of the big names to come in and go for the stop.
I think it was a good move, actually, because Potter seemed to be struggling a little bit on that soft tyre. So perhaps when he gets the different compound on, he'll start to find that pace again. But I wonder how long Jackson will last on that soft tyre, and I wonder whether he'll try and take that lead a little bit further, perhaps. But definitely a good move from Potter. We'll have to keep an eye out for him and see. He's gone onto the hard tyre, actually, so he's not picking he's the hard. So keep an eye on him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Thomas can do. Is he going to be able to bag another podium? He was on the podium at Pascani in the feature race. He has been making the feature races work real well. I think he did a bit. Probably hasn't had as much time on the sim as he might like to have done between this week and last week's round, but he was out racing for real in the karts over the weekend. And again, I haven't had a chance to look at the footage, but I know he's been enjoying that one. So a quick recap where we are. Jack Smith is the race leader at the moment, soft tyre. Craig Curtis in P2 is in second, again on soft. Scott Bugner on the medium is in P3. Scott Bugner's strategy here could be playing well good here. So we've got his teammate Andy Carroll chasing Nathan Smith. Nathan in 4th place in the silver and blue livery, and then the orange front silverback car of Andy Carroll looking to try and get involved and move up a position at the moment, but Nathan Smith driving a good steady one. Sam Walton running well, he's in 6th place still, so Sam on the medium tyre. Sam's ahead of Chris Blakey, he's ahead of Josh Martin, neither of whom have stopped. Alex Forster hasn't stopped either, so this is good stuff from Sam Walton as well, a little bit further back. But fascinating here from Andy Carroll. We were enjoying it, but Nathan Smith decides, no, you've had your fun, I'm going to go in and get new boots.
Wise choice again. I'll be seeing quite a lot of cars in the pit lane there, so this feels like it's kind of the time where they're making their changes. We can see them filing in now. Thomas Potter now crossing our timing screens. You see they're all filing in now, so they're all making that switch. So it's going to jostle up the order a little bit, but we'll have to see where Thomas Potter comes out in all of this, because obviously he was the one that pitted first. So let's take a look.
Yep, still showing us first stopper, but remains to be seen as we watch Craig Curtis come out as well. Scott Bugner now the leader. Of course, if you're in a battle and you decide to leave that battle by way of getting an advantage by leaving it, coming in, and then not having to squabble afterwards, you're also giving the person that you were battling with the advantage of having clear track as well. So it's almost a gift as well, and almost unselfish kind of doing that. As we watch Chris Blakey in P4 chasing Sam Walton, irrespective of, regardless of pit stop, Sam Walton's driven a good one here, and strong point scoring position. Extra points available, of course, for the reverse grid race. Chris Blakey, though, will look to try and make his way through. Thomas Potter still showing at the moment as the top stopper, as Blakey puts the pressure on Sam Walton. Let's see whether Sam will leave half a gap. Runs a little bit wide there. Chris Blakey not quite got the momentum to tuck in on the inside. Goes slightly wider into that corner to gain a little bit more momentum. And they come the two almost as one. Chris Blakey yet to stop. And, well, OK, Sam Walton comes in. Chris Blakey's got to do another lap at least. It's a chicane. Scott Bugner still the race leader. Andy Carroll's second. Chris Blakey now in third. So you can see the gap that Scott Bugner and Andy Carroll had over him. Andy Carroll now in the pits as well has come in. But Scott Bugner on the medium tyre, having a good long run, which he said he was going to do. And he did say he was going to stay out longer because he tends to muller the softs a little bit, does Scott Bugner. So we'll see whether the strategy plays out well for him. As we watch Nathan Smith now challenging Josh Martin. This is for P7. Both of them having stopped. P5 in terms of the drivers that have had their stop. So Josh Martin, not sure when he passed Nathan Smith, but possibly did it in the pit stops.
Yeah, there's going to be that overlap that's happening there. That's kind of where the strategy's coming into play, isn't it? When you kind of choose to pit. I would imagine P1 and P2 are going to try and do as quickly as we can. We can see P2 Chris Blakey is on a hard tyre, so he's obviously trying to make that last. But yeah, Josh Martin and Nathan Smith having a good little battle here.
Yeah, I was trying to work out. I think Josh Martin was in the mini championship when you joined us last time on VRRC as well.
Yes, yeah. I believe he was. Yeah,
I'm not
doing
sure if
pretty well as well, wasn't he? I believe.
Yeah, he's always been okay.
Yeah. No, but he was right at the front because I remember the mini championship was quite big, wasn't it? Because it was during COVID and everyone was on their seats, weren't they? So that was a big grid at that point, and with a lot of still current racing drivers as well. So yeah, no mean feat to be right at the front of that at that time.
No, it's not. Did Dave Barker win that one? He's racing Civics, of course, now. And
Yes,
always nice to see Dave out and about in the circuits. And Jack Smith's the equivalent, I guess, of Dave Marshall now, in terms of the run. He had a test, didn't he, with Mini as well? He got a test out of it, or a race meeting as well, which was a pretty mega prize at the time.
Oh, nice.
Very generous of them to do that. As we pick up on Craig Curtis, P2. Jack Smith is in P3. Scott Bugner behind him, though, at the moment. So Scott... now, what's happened to Scott? So he's showing as soft tyre. So he's had his stop, hasn't he? Yeah, so he's gone on to soft tyre. So is Scott going to be able to overcome? This is interesting now because we've got multi-champion versus potential new champion here, and championship leader after round 2, Scott Bugner, busy chasing Jack Smith. So this is kind of what we've been not waiting for all evening, but something that we've been looking forward to happening, to see the battle between these two. You've got Jack Smith on the medium tyre now and Scott Bugner on soft. So we've got a straight race between two great VRRC races here, Lydia.
So in theory, Bugner should be quicker on the softer tyre, and he seems to have the edge there a little bit. He kind of turned into the corner a little bit better, and he's actually just passed him there as I said that. So yeah, he seems to have the edge, but whether he can make it last for the final 11 minutes or so of this race, we'll soon. But I mean, Jack Smith is on his tail still, so not too much difference in those tyres there, but remember Jack Smith hasn't got a lot of ballast on that car, so perhaps that might be making a difference as well.
Yeah, Scott's got loads of ballast to be able to deal with. I'll tell you what, handling this round very well indeed, Scott Brno, after the frustration last time out. Driving a good one, he's up on the podium at the moment. Ahead of him, Craig Curtis P2, and top of the stoppers with that strategy again is Thomas Potter. Nearly a rhyme in there somewhere, isn't there? But Thomas leading this one from Craig Curtis. Craig has had a super event so far, and he's P2. 4 seconds down though. Is Craig going to be able to close down? Thomas Potter's on the hard tyre, Craig Curtis on the medium. Potter's last lap 1:43.8, and Craig Curtis last lap 1:42.6. So he is quicker, but whether there'll be enough time, 9 minutes on the clock, for Craig Curtis to close the gap on Thomas Potter remains to be seen. Thomas not had a win yet in this campaign, so it's going to be interesting to see whether he can grab that. He's had a couple of podiums, so either way, Thomas's strategy working out well. And remember, it was from 5th on the grid, and it was a blistering start from Thomas Potter as we watched Craig Curtis trying to close down, and you can see he's got him in his sights, and I'm guessing that's key, Lydia. If you can see the car in front, that's what you focus on.
I think so. It's definitely harder to lead, particularly with Potter when you're looking in that mirror, or probably looking at the lap times more, and he'll be seeing that Curtis is just taking little nibbles out of him, sort of a couple of tenths every sort of half a lap or so. Yeah, I mean, whether he can get there and make the pass is a different matter, but it's certainly easier to chase, particularly when Curtis hasn't got any threat from behind. He's literally just focusing on the car in front, isn't he? So potentially an easier sort of position to be in, just trying to close that gap. But yeah, he seems to be doing that at the moment. It's the gap is coming down gradually. Still 3.7 seconds, so healthy enough. Potter doesn't have to worry too much.
I think Scott Buckner will be worrying. He's dropped down to 6th place. Jack Smith up into 3rd. Jack also getting fastest lap on that previous lap. Andy Carroll is in 4th place. Then Josh Martin 5th now, ahead of Scott Buckner. That is key for the championship between Martin and Buckner. Chris Blakey next, then Adam Lyle, Alex Forster 9th, Sam Walton in 10th place, Nika Krishnovka next up, Nathan Smith down in 13th actually. John Jones just goes past Nathan Smith, Lee Piercy in 15th of the runners at the moment, as Jack Smith and Andy Carroll go through shots. Let's see Jack with the medium tyre, so it's Thomas Potter on the hard tyres leading from Craig Curtis and Jack Smith. They're both on medium, Andy Carroll on the soft tyre, so things might play here for Andy Carroll to close down on Jack Smith. Shame that we lost Scott out of the mix as well. Fair way back. I'm wondering if Scott had it off somewhere. He was carrying a lot of ballast, and he has been having to work hard to get that around the tracks, so it could be damage limitation for Scott Buckner. Still scoring consistently though. Remember, he was on the podium in race number 1, 2nd position in race 1, so qualified well, raced well to get that P2, so not bad scoring from him. But he'll be worrying about where Josh Martin is, 1 position above him at the moment in P5, and we're watching the driver who's ahead of them, Andy Carroll, who fancies a bit of drifting. I wonder if Daniel Heaps was watching that. He's a bit of a drifter.
On entry to the corner as well, it was a bit of a Scandi flick, wasn't it, going into that corner there? But I mean, it looks stylish, so yeah, points for that. But maybe not as nice to drive. If you sat in the passenger seat, wouldn't fancy that.
No, well, that's yeah. If he has a track day, I'm willing to go out. I've done some of that. That looks like pretty good fun to me. But have you got any track days coming up? And by the way, that's not a hint for a passenger ride, but.
Well, I seem to spend my life at the track in the passenger seat, hence why I made the comment. Yeah, you see a lot of hairy stuff, but you don't really want to go sideways in the braking zone into the entry of a chicane, really. But yeah, in terms of driving myself, no test days booked yet, but yeah, I can't wait to get out in my new little car. But yeah, maybe wait till the warmer weather. Perhaps need to go abroad or something, because the weather on our screens looks a lot nicer than what we've got at home. I
think you've got a customer there, Rich Hager. Also, you do a lot of instructing, don't you, as well?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, kind of put your life into the hands of the person who's driving you around that you've met about 5 minutes ago. So that's definitely a trusting experience. Different kind of job to the normal sort of office job, but yeah, you get to the end of the day and you breathe a sigh of relief sometimes. But it's yeah, wouldn't change it for the world. And you meet a lot of nice people, sit in a lot of nice cars, and yeah, get to spend your day at the circuit. So yeah, pretty dream job well, for myself. I get told that I've got the dream job quite a lot, but sometimes when you think you're hurtling towards the braking zone and you're shouting brake and they're not braking, I do think maybe I should be sort of in a warm office behind a desk or something. But yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world.
I've got to say, actually, out of all the drivers that I talk to that do coaching and instructing, Lydia is the nicest person about the customers. I've never heard Lydia be rude about a customer, and some of the other driving instructors do, whether it's a way of letting off a bit of steam or what. But you know, if you've been a customer driver with Lydia, then you've done well, because she's not complained about you. So not sure.
It's in a job, so we have to be nice about them. You know that everyone's there to learn, and you know everyone starts somewhere. So yeah, you have to be as nice as possible to everyone. And I think if you're if you've kind of got a different approach to it, maybe the information might not go in. You have to think it's quite a high stress environment. There's a lot going on, a lot to think about. So yeah, you kind of have to take it back to when I first started and I had absolutely no idea what I'm doing. So yeah, I think that's the way to be. That's what I try and keep in my head anyway.
That's really good. That's really good. I just caught up with my messages, actually. I'm a bit slow. So Lydia's quick, I'm slow on comments and everything else. And thank you to Rich Hayden for letting me know on the absentees. And Paul Laramie, we wish you well if you're watching. Paul Laramie's unwell. Hope that he will be back and get fit and well. Too much of the bugs kicking around at the moment. Kicking around quickly. Got the gap down to 2 seconds now. It's Craig Curtis. So that is a 2 second gap. Jack Smith not that far behind though in third. So we've got the top three drivers. I should make that the top four. All in shot together. Potter, Curtis, Jack Smith, Andy Carroll, Scott Bugner in fifth place. So Scott Bugner back ahead of Josh Martin. Key championship points is that one. And Craig Curtis trying to hunt down and look to make it a double win. I don't think we've had a double race winner so far in this campaign. So this could be a little bit special. Thomas Potter on the hard tyre, remember, so he's battling with that. Up 3/10 on that lap, down to 1.7 now. And Craig Curtis has well and truly got the bit between his teeth, but 3 minutes is not very long, Lydia, is it, to close down and pass?
No, it's not, you're right, but the problem is he is taking chunks out of Potter now. I think those hard tyres are definitely starting to struggle a little bit. The medium just seems to have the edge a little bit at the moment, but yeah, you're right. I mean, if Potter puts up a good show with the defensive driving, he might have a chance to actually get round Potter. So yeah, I wouldn't write Potter out for the win at the moment, but Curtis does seem quite pacey. I mean, he's down to 1.5 seconds now, so he's just knocked another half a second off him. And we're so yeah, he is taking chunks out of him now.
Well, this is, again, you know, what a great education this is for young drivers like Thomas Potter, who are getting great sim time, they're getting competition time, learning about winning off the front, learning about strategy of tyres, and then having to deal with soaking up the pressure of someone hunting them down. I mean, it's such an ideal environment, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and to be honest, you kind of forget how young Thomas is. Like you said, like he can't race on the circuits yet because he's not old enough, and he's racing against fully grown adults in the sim racing world, which is quite cool actually. And what an advert for young people to get involved in motorsport, and it's a nice way to get into it, isn't it, in the sim racing world? So yeah, the fact that we've got he's 13, isn't he? I think that, yeah, 13-year-old racer, winning the racing world is pretty special, really.
I think it feels like I've known Thomas a while. I think it's about a year and a half now. But he was too young last year to do any of the junior scholarships, which is crazy. You know, here he is winning VRRC races, and out doing karting and looking to get onto the Toka package at the end of the season. An absolutely mega job. So, if you're a parent and you're looking for stuff for your youngsters to do, come and get them into sim racing. It gets expensive thereafter, though. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. You get the bug and you want to move on, don't you? But to be fair, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Liz, I know you've got the plans for next year, but you're still open to talk to other people who want to join you on the journey, aren't you? And they will have a great time if people do hook up with you, it's not just sponsorship, is it? It's having a great time in terms of, you know, socially enjoying the racing, enjoying the events as much as everything else.
Exactly. I think with Porsche, it's more of a lifestyle, and it's using the track as an amazing hospitality unit that Porsche pop up every weekend, and it's pretty incredible when you go inside it. You can watch the racing from the rooftop terrace. It is a real nice place to be. So yeah, it's more than just a sit on the car. It's social media exposure. You've got the ITV4 coverage, like we did in the Mini, but now we can offer that lovely hospitality, which we've not been able to offer before. So it is a great opportunity for sponsors to bring their clients, their customers, their relations to a nice day out. It's not just, you know, everyone loves to go to the football, but it's sort of the samey kind of thing, whereas when you take them to touring cars, it's a different day out. So yeah, it's definitely a unique experience to get involved up close with something really fun. And I think with motorsport, it appeals to all the senses. You know, you've got the smell, you've got the sound, and now you can eat some nice food while you do it. So yeah, it's a brilliant experience, and yeah, I'd love to hear from anyone that would love to get involved, because obviously we don't go racing without sponsors. They are like family to me, so it's it's great to have them.
You can't get a better person to represent your company, or just being great company on the weekend, and live with the family and team. So and the Graves team as well. So we're on the last lap though. I don't know where this evening's gone. It's gone real quick. Thomas Potter's gone real quick too, and he's in the lead. Runs a little bit wide there. The clock has run down. Jack Smith closing action. Jack Smith is closer to Craig Curtis here than Curtis is to Potter, but Thomas has got the strategy exactly right here, Lydia.
He has. He looks a bit ragged, so I feel like he's definitely trying to get every last little inch out of that car, but I don't think he needs to. I think he's pretty certain in his win there. To be fair, I thought it was going to be closer at the end than what it is, so he's held on well. That hard tyre served him well for the longevity that he's had out of it. So I think it's not over between Curtis and Smith just yet, but saying that, Curtis seems to have a little gap on Smith there. So I think we're fairly dead set on who our top three are, providing they don't lob themselves off.
Absolutely right. I think that's the way, isn't it? And well, Thomas Potter comes through the last couple of corners. We look at the clock. What is the time? It's time for tea. The flying teapot. Thomas Potter takes the win. It's Craig Curtis second. Jack Smith in third place on his return to the championship. Andy Carroll is going to take fourth position from Scott Budner in fifth. Then Chris Blakey ahead of Josh Martin. Adam Lyle next up from Alex Forster. Here comes Alex Forster across the, not across the line, out of the final corner. Of course, that was Adam Lyle ahead of him. So Alex Forster will complete the top 9. Top 10 completed by Olivia Krasnowska from John Jones. What a fantastic 3 races we've had. Here comes Alex Forster, qualified Lydia as a race driver, passed his answer test just over a week ago at Mallory Park. So he'll be racing for real as well. He looks like he's pleased, gives a little bit of a buzz. Here is Olivia to round out our top 10 here at Assen. Olivia will be followed by John Jones, Sam Walton, Nathan Smith and Lee Piercy out of luck in that race. And we'll have our top 3 interviews in just a couple of minutes.